Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to all. The medical technology, this is Tanaz Buhariwala speaking from Mumbai, the ID Ireland office. The medical technology and medical devices industry in Ireland is a very rich ecosystem comprising both companies as well as research institutes. It gives me great pleasure to host this webinar today. We have an impressive lineup of institutes joining us and very senior personnel presenting on behalf of all these institutes. You would have noticed the schedule of this webinar is on our screens. I begin by giving context to why Ireland makes for the perfect destination for any company choosing to do business in Europe. This is irrespective of whether it is the company's first European foray or it is looking to expand its footprint within Europe. And this fact becomes even more relevant in a post-Brexit scenario. Let us first look at the opportunities the MedTech and the med device sector presents globally. In 2016, the total worldwide MedTech sales was $386 billion, and this industry is expected to grow to $522 billion by 2022. This is an average increase of 5.1% annually. The opportunities are immense and the stakes are high. There are certain segments within these that are expected to grow at a higher than industry average. To cite a few, these are neurology, in vitro diagnostics, cardiology, and diabetes care. As we know, each of these areas are massive growth areas in India as well. Within all the high-growth therapeutic areas, Ireland has its own niche and an existing ecosystem. This fact will stand out in forthcoming slides and the information shared during the course of this webinar. If we specifically look at the Irish medical technology industry, we see some really interesting statistics. Ireland, which is an English-speaking country, is a committed member of the EU and is a global leader in the production of drug-eluting stents. I'd like to mention here, there's an Indian stent manufacturing company, SMT Limited, and they have based their EMEA headquarters out of Ireland, and they manage key activities like warehousing, sterilization, packaging, labeling, and logistics for the EMEA region out of Ireland. There are other impressive facts. One of them is 1 out of every 4 diabetes patients globally relies on an injectable device manufactured in Ireland. Or even if you look at global orthopedic knees, 75% are manufactured in Ireland. These are just some facts with many more to share. Ireland is recognized as one of the top 5 emerging medical device and MedTech hub in the world, and one will find a strong ecosystem at play in each of the above subsectors. I share a quick snapshot of the who's who in the various subsectors operating out of Ireland. We have J&J, Stryker, Zimmer, ResMed. They manufacture and carry out R&D activities in the vision, dental and hearing products. We have Abbott Diagnostics, Siemens, Covidien, Integra, Waters, operating in the medical equipment and diagnostic area. And within the single-use and support products category, we have again Abbott Diagnostics, and then we've got Baxter, Becton Dickinson, Covidien, and Millipore, just to name a few. I'm sure the names of these large global leaders stand out, and I'm equally proud to share that Ireland is home to the top 14 out of 15 global med device companies. Here's another quick look at the logos present and operating out of Ireland. Moving further to R&D in this industry in Ireland, here are a few key priority research areas that have been identified. Now, these are identified based on forecasts for global demand and given the presence of companies operating in these areas in Ireland. And therefore, the institutional and academic expertise has been built. Some of our speakers later will touch on the work done by their institutes in some of these areas. As all of you know, Ireland is a small country, but it is punching above its weight in this sector. Here's a graph based on a MedTech Europe 2018 report that mentions the number of employees per capita engaged in this sector, and that is highest from within Europe. The same report further shows that Ireland is a high export market in this sector. Here are some institutions Ireland is proud of. Cutting-edge research is carried out across smart wearable med device, microelectronics, nanotechnology, material sciences, biomedical diagnostics, applied polymer technologies, and of course, connected health research, and this along with the software research and data analytics. This slide, along with the next, highlights some of our research and technology centers, and we shall hear from a few of them today. Here we've included what some of our client companies say about Ireland and why their presence in Ireland is a success. They talk about how they service their various markets through Ireland, and then their operations are successful because of the talents they find in Ireland. The attitude, the competency, the productivity of the Irish talent is well recognized and documented in various reports. I cite one example. Ireland ranks number 1 in labor productivity in the EU as per the IMD Yearbook Competitiveness Report 2017. Very quickly, for those participants that aren't familiar with IDA, we are the Irish government's FDI agency, and we work with foreign-owned companies seeking to set up in Ireland and service European markets out of Ireland. We follow a consultative approach and work closely with companies. We handhold companies to the extent they require. We share relevant and competitive market information with them. We help make introductions to service providers, the supply chain, and the ecosystem. We help identify office, manufacturing, or warehousing sites. Basically, we provide any information the company may require to make an informed decision about the ideal location to set up within Europe for their needs. All IDA services are free and confidential. Anyway, coming back to Ireland, there are a number of reasons why Ireland is a premier location for MedTech and med device companies. I would like to highlight that Ireland is the second largest exporter of MedTech products in Europe. This in itself speaks of our existing ecosystem and Ireland's prowess in this area. This success is due to the vibrant ecosystem that is at play in Ireland. The companies, that's over 300 of them, and the next slide will show a snapshot of the same. But besides the company, the research and academic institutes, we've already seen a snapshot and we will hear from some. The regulatory body and the support and encouragement from the government, they all play a part in Ireland's success in this sector. Now here I apologize for the small print. We will share this presentation with all later. But this map mentions some of the companies with large operations in Ireland and shows how these are dotted across the country, forming small clusters. Most of these clusters would see a research institute at their fulcrum. Along with these companies largely working on a traditional MedTech, med device as we know it, we're also seeing a growing number of next-gen MedTech companies in Ireland working in the field of augmented intelligence, cellular programming, bionics, genetics, 3D printing, and blockchain technology. Here's a very, very quick look at some of the recent new and additional investments in Ireland since 2015. And moving on, I'd like to quickly mention some basic facts about Ireland. The Republic of Ireland is a sovereign state in northwestern Europe. It's a member of the European Union and the only English-speaking part of the Eurozone and now the EU. Ireland follows a common law system, and it's a democracy with an open, globalized economy. There is free movement of trade and labor between all members of the European Union, and that includes Ireland. As mentioned, post-Brexit, Ireland will remain the only English-speaking part of the EU, And since we follow the common law system, which is the same as the UK and India, it is advantageous to Indian companies. It is significant to note here that Ireland is the fastest growing economy in Europe for the past 4 years, with a GDP growth of over 7.2% in 2017. And there is rapid expansion in Ireland in its manufacturing as well as services sector, and one sees a rise in domestic demand too. This is besides a strong export growth. National and international economic analysts agree that Ireland's strong growth will continue in 2018 and 2019. Another reason that companies choose Ireland is the fact that Ireland is a globally recognized low-tax jurisdiction. Ireland's corporate tax rate is a transparent and a fixed 12.5% for all trading income, and this is amongst the lowest in Europe. I would like to end with this snapshot of a sampling of some Indian companies we have worked with closely, help them set up their presence in Ireland. We continue to engage with most of them to ensure that they continue to grow in Ireland and succeed in Europe. I'd be happy to address any questions you may have once every speaker has had a say. In fact, that's going to be the protocol going forward. After every speaker speaks and finishes, we will hand it over to the participants for any questions they may have. Having said this, on my part, my colleague Dr. Vishal Dakhole and I would be equally happy to arrange a face-to-face meeting with any participant that would like to have to discuss your company's internationalization plans personally. With this, I end my presentation. Thank you very much. And I'd like to call upon John Cunningham and his colleague Sienna Flynn from the Center for Research in Medical Devices, short for CURAM, to take over for the next 15 minutes. Thank you very much. John, over to you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. On behalf of CURAM, I'd like to thank you very much for the opportunity of speaking today. Basically, the centre here was set up in 2015 as one of 7 centres, and just reinforcing what my colleague said, the confidence in research and development in Ireland is so strong now that companies like Boston Scientific, Johnson & Johnson, Stryker, and even SME companies, 6 out of 10 of those companies are investing in research and development in Ireland, and they're working directly with universities on the future generation of academic students and working directly with people on the ground here to make sure that they're involved and see what the future of the MedTech technology is. So it's a good growing confidence that we're working in, backing up what has been said by the previous speaker. So I'll just try, to move on. The slide doesn't seem to come up. Right, I don't know. I'm just going to pull up my own here, and I'll start and I'll run through it.
Yes.
Yeah, if that's okay. Sorry, I don't want to delay the process.
That's perfect, and I have the second one up here.
Okay. I'll just, sorry now, won't be a sec. I'll just pull it up here. So in terms of the centre here, CURAM, we, as I mentioned, we are one of a number of centres of excellence that have been set up in Ireland. Our remit is medical device research. We have a distinctive, on the second slide you can see there, which has been reinforced already, in the medical device area in Ireland, 50% of the ventilators that are used worldwide are manufactured in Ireland. 33% of the world contact lenses are manufactured here. 30% of 30 million people with diabetes, the Irish injectable devices related are manufactured in Ireland. You can see they're very strong, 80% of the global stint production, and we're the second largest exporter in MedTech. And for our point of view, based where we are in Galway, we've a very strong medical device hub, and 13 out of the 15 global medical device companies have operations here. Out of those, you can see 5 of them have developed centres of excellence or innovation hubs in Ireland, and we are working with 4 of them already. So I'll move on to the next slide. Just from your own point of view, in Ireland since 2017, there's been 1,300 collaborations between industry and academia. That's been in terms of projects, joint investments in research, and also spin-out purchases by individual companies. There's over 26 billion in investment funds available presently in Irish startups from overseas venture capitalists and Irish indigenous venture funds. And one important piece which I was at recently was for every €1 spent on research in Ireland, it will yield €100 return of manufactured investment income. So, I mean, that is fairly impressive for any research that's done in R&D in Ireland. It gives 100% return for that investment. So it gives you the idea, the level of quality and also the level of research, the positive level. And that's why 6 out of 10 of companies in Ireland, as you mentioned, is currently investing in research here. In terms of the global medical hubs, Ireland is up there in terms of the forefront in the medical device centre. I mean, we are facing a lot of global competition from Israel, Singapore, Spain, different areas, but we are punching above our weight, and particularly in terms of spin-outs, new technologies and specializations between all the parties here. We're certainly doing our bit, as you can see from the economic figures, to drive innovation and drive business, particularly in the medical device research area. In terms of the recent MedTech wins, I won't go over this, but this is just summarised before. You can see some names there that have companies here in Ireland that were mentioned before, the collaboration centres. In terms of the infrastructure is basically made up of twofold. I mean, when this was set up initially, Science Foundation Ireland would be our co-funders. The PRTLI, that would be the Irish Research Landscape. Basically, the government have invested in Science Foundation Ireland, and they have set out a very high protocol in terms of reaching out to the communities, engaging with industry, making us be responsible with global industry partners, and coming up with new and novel ideas to promote our centres. And we work very closely with Enterprise Ireland, with the IDA and with the government organisations. We also work jointly with a lot of global universities, and you can see from this that it has become so specialised. We have clinical research facilities. We have a hospital innovation hub, which is linked directly into the hospitals in terms of these are the people that are delivering the products and delivering the technology. And through their shared research and their shared information, we're able to define better delivery on medical device components and research from that whole structure. There's also been 17 startup hub centres, stem cell manufacturing, and as I mentioned, a very big pot of venture capital coming from the Far East, Middle East, from the US, from everywhere. And that basically all in itself has committed to creating what is the structure of Curum that specialises in the medical device side. So I'll quickly move on. In terms of international collaboration, a lot of the projects that we're working on now, is they're European funded or if they're globally funded. We have 406 academic partnerships, which means that in terms of dealing with companies like, for example, Boston Scientific, Medtronic, we're working on a number of, we have what's called Science Foundation Ireland funded investigators, and they're approved investigators under the Irish Government's Research and Development Protocol, and basically they liaise with us, with industry, and they're working on cutting edge technology with leading academics from Singapore, from Israel, from San Jose, Minnesota, South America. So we have a huge international collaboration of people that we're working on. A lot of the projects now are no longer one single university. They're working within 8 or 9 tri-university research approaches on very large programs. And this is where we reach out to industry to come in as joint partners to invest on the research that we were doing. In terms of Curum, round one, we have 42 ongoing projects, 68 projects which we're now profiling. These are internal projects that we are reviewing to our technology platform, and they will certainly be open to investment opportunities for overseas companies to look at licensing or acquiring some of the technologies. We have 20 key partners. Some of them are on our industrial enterprise board. And under the current program, 27 million of the funding has been through the Horizon 2020, the EU program for development. 19 million of that has been awarded directly for these projects that we're working on, and 5 million from industry. The vision is that we will develop more research areas. These are just some of the areas. Basically, we have a lot of projects ongoing for industry and ourselves under cardiac disease, looking at different areas of research for Parkinson's, sepsis research, critical limb and muscular, and we're also looking at the whole area of companion diagnostics and engaging with, looking at areas, setting up a steering committee for looking at the whole area of how ICT and data science affects a medical device, because technology, whatever way we do it, is affecting the future. And, unless we change with the times, this will be part of our vision going forward. It's working with industry and working with people on the future technology. In terms of the current sectors we work in, there are respiratory, neural, cardiovascular, musculoskeletal, renal, urology. We're doing a lot of work around the soft tissue area at the moment, tissue regeneration. In terms of support, we've got 61 academic leads, as I mentioned, 500 researchers globally, 8 clinicians, and we're combined with 6 universities. In terms of funding, our current funding platform for this year is 37.1 million. We've been committed to treble the size, basically 2.5 times, 250% growth by 2020, which means we need to treble the input of opportunities in business from the global network. We need to become a self-funding centre, and this is why we are developing and working on our own internal projects for spin-out, and we certainly welcome, and we will be expanding and developing those opportunities. We also were the first in terms of a clinical trial success completed here last year in Curum. So in terms of partners, we've got 10 multinational, 18 indigenous. So we're very, very set up for dealing with the larger companies from overseas. We're also very interested in research and development projects that we can manage and control under our platform and leads here, and particularly, most importantly, small to medium-sized companies who may have research or startups, because they are the big driver going forward for developing growth. The value chain, briefly, the building blocks have been put in place. We look at the challenges of what the market is and what the expectations are. We have put together a team in terms of the assembling the formulation and a white paper for the different researchers. We've got internal device design, and we translate that then using the technology in these areas: biomaterial drug delivery, tissue engineering, regenerative medicine, device design, and blocker science. And the core areas of technologies you can see there, I won't delve on them, they're in what I already mentioned. In terms of working with industry, at the moment, under the current milestone, if a project is a minimum of 30,000 euros investment and it meets the criteria of medical device, if it can enhance and improve the betterment of the patient or improve the cycle of the medical device structure. For example, if you invest 30,000 in a project under the current program, we will co-fund it by 1.5 times. So under the current pot, we have €5 million of an investment pot. In the last Stage Horizon 2020. So if a project comes to us with a €30,000 investment, we can co-fund that by 45,000. We have an open call for application. We tailor the project to meet the needs of what we can do. We manage it through the measurables and the milestones. And we have a standard protocol in place for the IP, which basically we can go through further detail if necessary. In terms of industry partners, this is quite small, but you can see there are a lot of the people that are on the thing. We have some, unfortunately, due to confidentiality, but we've Boston Scientific, Arch Therapeutics, Integer, Fleming Medicals, Novari, which has been a successful spin-out bought by Johnson & Johnson, Aerogen, Nebulizers, Mylan, AbbVie, Neograft. We have Cook Ireland, and in terms of the building blocks, these are channeled through our industry partners and through the medium that I set in place. So whatever the needs are on the bottom, we funnel through the program. We work with our partners. We try and leverage that business. But we want to see a lot more companies, and we'd welcome our Indian colleagues, our other colleagues to become part of the Curum fund in the future. So we have 11 multinationals, 31 small to medium-sized companies. One of the areas as well, which is very important, particularly on the next round, is public engagement. Corporate responsibility on educating and promoting medical device and health is key with a lot of companies in particular. So we were one of the first centres to engage with in terms of bringing in teachers, residents, clinicians and people who are involved in the medical and healthcare. And we're at the moment promoting through art and through film new education programs for corporate and for social responsibility. And it is something that the Irish government is looking at down the line of engaging biomedical and research as a subject because it is so important to our sector. So we're educating the masses here in terms of the different areas by using the people who are delivering this education as experts. And we won an award recently through the Irish Film Board for our first public engagement in this area. And from that point of view, thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer. Okay?
Thank you for that, John. Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.